In 2024, Dubai's hotels were, well, fuller than ever before, capping a truly record-breaking year for tourism. But while the city was celebrating a completely packed holiday season, a different story was starting to take shape in the numbers. Today, we're digging into why a triumphant December might have just revealed the biggest challenge yet for Dubai's hospitality boom.
So, let's start with the big, flashy number. In 2024, Dubai didn't just open its doors, it completely shattered its old records, welcoming 18.72 million international visitors. And that's not just a small increase. We're talking a staggering 9% jump from the year before. That's a tourism engine running at absolute full throttle.
But listen, this story isn't really about the whole year. We need to zoom in on December, because that was the critical month that put the final exclamation point on this incredible performance. So what exactly made it the grand finale to such a record-breaking year?
Okay, so to really get what's going on, we gotta look at the numbers. Let's break down the key performance metrics that, tell the real story of what's happening in Dubai's hotel scene.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. For the whole year, hotel occupancy ticked up to a super healthy 78.2%. And RevPAR, that's just industry speak for revenue per available room, a big deal for profitability, that's a solid growth too. But, and this is a big but, look at ADR, that's the average daily rate, basically what you're paying for a room each night. It barely moved. So what does that tell us? It means hotels were fuller, for sure, but they just couldn't really raise their prices. The big takeaway? Volume is way up, but the value, well, it's kind of hitting a ceiling.
So even though the yearly numbers hint at some price pressure, December itself, it was an absolute blockbuster for just filling rooms. I mean, the city's hotels were completely packed. We're talking the highest occupancy levels we've seen since the whole post-pandemic travel boom kicked off. It was really the peak of a very, very strong year.
And this wasn't just a number on a spreadsheet. You could feel it on the ground. We have a quote here from Jan Hanek over at the Radisson Hotel Group, and he basically confirmed it. The whole festive season saw incredible demand. Not just for bookings, but for rates too, right around that peak New Year's period. It just goes to show how massively important New Year's Eve is for the city's bottom line. So, the big question is why? What was driving all this demand? Let's take a look under the hood at the engines that fueled this incredible boom.
In this chart, it really lays out the city's genius strategy. You've got Western Europe as the solid foundation, right? That's a stable 19% of visitors. But the real story, the exciting part, is the growth from other places. Take North and Southeast Asia. They saw a massive 24% jump in visitors. See, Dubai isn't putting all its eggs in one basket. It's building a truly global fan base. And it wasn't just about tourism either. The underlying economy was just strong. The non-oil sector was booming. A PMI of 56.2 shows some serious expansion. Then you throw in all the major events, concerts, those world-famous fireworks, and you've got these huge magnets for crowds. And holding it all together is Dubai's status as a global hub. I mean, its airport is still the busiest in the world, basically acting like a giant funnel, pouring travelers right into the city. But, a record-breaking year like this, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It brings its own set of new pressures. In fact, the very success of 2024 has kind of pulled back the curtain on a new set of challenges, creating some serious headwinds on the horizon. And this, right here, is the core issue for Dubai's next chapter. Look, the city has proven, beyond a doubt, that it can fill its hotel rooms. That's a given. The new challenge, the real test, is whether it can still charge those premium prices it's known for, especially as competition and the number of hotels just keeps growing. This chart just says it all, doesn't it? Occupancy growth, yep, it's there, it's positive. But then look at the growth for the average daily rate. It's that tiny, tiny sliver. This is the visual proof of that tension we were just talking about. Hotels are busy, no question, but they're really struggling to charge more. And that points to one thing, a saturated market and just brutal competition.
So what's causing all this pressure? Well, it's coming from a few different places. Inside Dubai, you've got rising costs. Things like a nearly 6% jump in housing, and that's really squeezing hotel profits. Then, outside, the competition is getting fierce. I mean, Abu Dhabi's international arrivals shot up by 26%. You add to that a constant pipeline of new luxury hotels opening in Dubai itself, plus a kind of shaky global economy, and yeah, you've got the makings of a perfect storm.
Which, of course, brings us to the year ahead. 2025 is shaping up to be this really fascinating balancing act for Dubai's hotel scene, as it tries to navigate all these opportunities and all these threats at the same time.
So on one side of the scale, you've got these huge government plans pushing for growth, like Dubai's D33 agenda. Even Abu Dhabi's own big tourism strategy could have a positive ripple effect. But then, on the other side, the threats are very, very real. We're talking about a massive number of new hotel rooms about to open, the risk of a global slowdown hitting people's travel budgets, and the ongoing headache of just finding enough skilled workers to run everything.
But here's the thing. Even with all these short-term pressures, the long-term picture looks incredibly strong. I mean, forecasts show the UAE's hospitality market growing from over $27 billion in 2025 to more than $35 billion by 2030. That's a growth rate of almost 8% a year, which shows there's still a ton of confidence in the region's future.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the picture becomes pretty clear, right? December 2024 was, without a doubt, a huge win. It was like the exclamation point at the end of a record-breaking year. But at the same time, it also pulled back the curtain on the next big test for Dubai.
Look, Dubai has proven it can fill its rooms. That race, it's over. They won. The new battleground is all about value, about maintaining that pricing power in a luxury market that's getting more crowded by the day. And the big question for 2025, the one that's going to define the next chapter for this global hub, is this: can it win that battle?